Hi, my name is Anise Barker, and I'd like to welcome you to part one in a series looking at the 3Rs curriculum, which is a comprehensive sexual education curriculum. Senate Bill 5395, which was signed into law on Friday, March 27th by Governor Jay Inslee, mandates all public schools in Washington state teach comprehensive sexual education, or CSE, to all students grades K through 12. This bill was requested by the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, or OSPI. OSPI sets educational standards for curriculum in Washington. 5395 mandates that all schools teach an approved CSE curriculum that meets OSPI standards for comprehensive sexual education. What I would like to do next is walk through the only comprehensive sexual education curriculum currently approved by OSPI for K through 12. There are other currently approved curricula, but this is the only one that includes K through 3 lessons. The name of this curriculum is Rights, Respect, and Responsibility, or you may know it as the 3Rs. This curriculum was written by Advocates for Youth, an organization that openly embraces youth sexuality as normal and healthy. I will warn you that as we go through this content, there is going to be some graphic imagery. I don't allow children into my presentations because this is the kind of material we are trying to protect them from. I have blurred some of the graphics from this curriculum so YouTube doesn't censor the video for inappropriate content. These are the images OSPI has approved to show your child in their classroom. So you will see blurred spots, but remember, your child will be seeing the full graphic. As I move through the curriculum, you will see the school grade we are discussing, and next to that is the approximate age of the children in that grade. Each one of the blue bullet points is a lesson your child will receive. Sometimes there will be the actual title of the lesson, and sometimes I have just listed the topic of the lesson to make it clearer. Each lesson is roughly 50 minutes of instruction, with male and female students receiving instruction together. This is no longer your 1-hour lesson on a Friday at the end of the day. There are 684 pages of instruction in this curriculum. Because of that, I'm only able to show you a small portion of content. There is so much more that I encourage you to go look at on your own. I will link to the full lesson plans in the comments below the video. I also don't summarize very often. The content you will see is directly pulled from the lesson. This curriculum is a mixed bag. There are some good lessons, but there are some really awful lessons. I will be providing examples of some of the things that I found concerning. In kindergarten, your child will receive lessons on the following: different kinds of families, personal space, everyone's unique, male and female anatomy, and star of the week. Note, all lessons and grades are combined, male and females together. They are no longer separated by gender. In the first lesson on families, the teacher is instructed to read a book titled The Family Book, where all types of family combinations are discussed and some same-sex couples are introduced as a normal type of family. In the personal space lesson, your child is given homework, which includes a contract that is to be signed by the parent that states, I promise to respect my child's boundaries and to listen when he or she says she doesn't like being touched in certain ways. I also promise, if anyone else in our home is doing this, to make it stop. Although the intent of this exercise might seem to be helping those who are being abused, I question how this would actually solve that problem. And I also question the effects upon the child-parent relationship for children who are not abused. Before the lesson on male and female anatomy begins, the teacher is given a paragraph regarding language used in the lesson. It reads, quote, you will notice that this lesson refers to girls and boys, male and female, when identifying body parts. Lessons in higher grades use more precise language and begin to introduce a broader concept of gender. This lesson does, however, acknowledge that, quote, there are some body parts that mostly just girls have, and some parts that mostly just boys have. Being a boy or girl doesn't mean you have to have those parts, but for most people, this is how their bodies are. And most people have a vulva and a vagina, or a penis and testicles, but some people's bodies are different. Your body is exactly what is right for you. Another note to the teacher includes the following. Quote, "You will notice that terms and concepts used in this lesson are very simple, recognizing that for many, providing more detail might be controversial at this grade level. If you are in a setting where using more detailed anatomical drawings is possible for kindergarten, we recommend using the diagrams found in It's Not a Stork, a book about girls, boys, babies, bodies, families, and friends by Robbie Harris." You will also notice in the graphic there is a sentence above, and it is, "A man's penis goes inside a woman's vagina." This is the graphic your child will be shown during the anatomy lesson. You will see the goals for the lesson in the top right corner. 1. Correctly identify at least 3 body parts for the female, namely the nipples, vulva, and anus. 2. Correctly identify at least 3 body parts for the male, namely the nipples, penis, and anus. And 3. Describe why it is important for them to know the correct names for their genitals. The teacher is also given a guide that states, "It is up to the teacher to determine the amount and detail of information to share with their students in ways that are age appropriate. This sheet is for the teacher's use only and is not to be distributed to students. They can share about the female vulva." The female vulva, the external female genitals. Vagina. The vagina is the canal leading from the vulva to the uterus. The average vaginal canal is 3 to 5 inches long and resembles a flattened tube with its walls touching each other. The vagina has great elasticity and can adjust to the size of a penis or allow a fully developed fetus to pass from the uterus out of the body. Male penis. The penis is made up of nerves, blood vessels, fibrous tissue, and 3 parallel cylinders of spongy tissue. It does not have any bones in it, but when people talk about an erection as a boner, they're mistaken. It is normal for a penis to curve slightly to one side or another, especially when it is erect." End quote. The activity for this lesson is to have the children label the body parts up on the board with Post-it notes. In first grade, your child will receive lessons on friendships, reproduction, and gender roles. The reproduction lesson covers what type of things can reproduce, living things versus inanimate objects. In first grade, your child's teacher will read them the book My Princess Boy, about a little boy who likes to dress up in girls' clothing and do girl activities. The teacher is instructed to close the lesson by asking, quote, "How could you support others in trying new things and participating in activities that some people may sometimes say are only for boys or only for girls?" End quote. They are looking for responses like, quote, "Tell them that you think it's great. Tell them that you shouldn't listen to what other people think. Tell them that you will do it with them, and tell them that there is no such thing as girl activities and boy activities." In second grade, your child will receive lessons on bullying, bullying and teasing, seeking help for bad touches, and male and female anatomy. During the male and female anatomy lesson, the teacher provides a graphic explanation of various male and female genitalia and their functions. Slides are displayed of each private part, and volunteer students are to post the names of male and female genitalia on the graphic using Post-it notes next to the correct private part. The teacher then has the discretion to share the following information with your child: the same description of the penis and vagina, and new information about the clitoris, the testicles, and the scrotum. The clitoris, located between the top of the labia minora and the clitoral hood, is a small body of spongy tissue that is highly sensitive. It consists of glands or head, a prepuce or foreskin, sometimes called a hood, and the shaft or body. The clitoris and surrounding tissue contain many nerve endings, making the entire area very sensitive to indirect and direct touches. The scrotum is a thin-walled, soft pouch of tissue that hangs behind and below the penis and contains the testes or testicles, the male sexual glands. The scrotum's primary function is to maintain the testes at the temperature at which the testes most effectively produce sperm. The male sexual glands, the two testes located within the scrotum, produce sperm and testosterone. One usually hangs slightly lower than the other. They hang outside the body because the sperm needs to be produced at a temperature that's usually about 5 to 6 degrees below the body temperature." End quote. During the lesson, your teacher again emphasizes that this is your body and you have a right to know what the different parts are called. Here is the graphic that will be shown to your child. The children will get to label the body parts with a Post-it note as a class activity. In 3rd grade, your child will receive lessons on harassment, teasing, and bullying, feeling safe, an introduction to puberty, and respect for all, which introduces the concepts of prejudice, discrimination, and pride. In the lesson Respect for All, your child will receive a lesson on prejudice and discrimination. Quote, define the word prejudice by saying, prejudice is when you judge or make assumptions about someone based on who they are or who you think they are. People who are prejudiced against someone often treat that person poorly or are hurtful to them or don't treat them fairly or with respect. That is called discrimination. Explain that some people show prejudice and discrimination against other people and it's not okay. It is never okay to be rude or to insult anyone or to treat them unfairly. The teacher can then pull out a full-sized pride flag to show the kids. The teacher is encouraged to talk about the flag and the meaning it has to the LGBT community. Pride flag stickers can be passed out to the kids to wear. For homework, each student is sent home with this blue flag to create their own pride flags, which can be hung around the classroom or in the hallway if permitted. In 4th grade, your child will receive lessons on teasing and bullying, figuring out friendships, sexual abuse and sexual harassment, and puberty. The introduction of puberty topics include menstruation, breast development, pubic hair, male erections, etc., and a class discussion on dealing with social and emotional changes during puberty. Books that are recommended in 4th grade as a guide to puberty include a book titled It's Perfectly Normal by Robbie Harris. In the top right corner, you will see some graphics from that book. Your children are also referenced to a few websites to learn more about puberty. In 5th grade, your child will receive lessons on sexual and reproductive anatomy, puberty and reproduction, HIV, aggressive, passive, and assertive communication, and what is love, where sexual orientation is introduced. During the lesson on love, the teacher is given instructions to, quote, explain that our understanding of which gender or genders we feel love and attraction for is called our sexual orientation. And quote, it's common to have feelings for people of your same gender and for people of a different gender. The graphics to the right come from the sexual, reproductive, and anatomy lesson. During that lesson, the teacher states, quote, it is important to remember that someone can have a penis even if they don't identify as a boy or a vulva even if they don't identify as a girl. Thank you for joining me for a look at content from the 3 R's curriculum. More videos in this series include content for grades 6 through 8 and 9 through 12, and they can be found on our YouTube channel, A Voice for Washington Children, or our website, the number 4wachildren.org. You can also join us in the fight against Senate Bill 5395 and comprehensive sexual education by joining the group Against 5395 on Facebook.